So hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Nat Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. All right, so today we are going to learn how to cut and how to sew a suit trouser. All right, a lot of you guys have been on my neck for us to sew a suit trouser, and we're doing that in this video. So please subscribe, turn your notification bell on so that whenever I drop the next part of the video, you will be notified. All right, so we are going to cut and sew a suit trouser from start to finish. Now for this trouser, these are the measurements we're going to be using. We're going to be using a waist measurement of 30, a tie, that is a lap measurement of 24, a trouser length of 35.5, a knee measurement of 17, and an ankle of 13. All right, so these are fabric I'm using for the trouser. This is my tape, my ruler, my chalk, and my what? Second row. So first, we are going to identify the vertical line this side, where all our measurements are going to begin from. All right, and when cutting the trouser, you fold your fabric by 2. You see, so I folded my fabric by 2. All right, so next thing for us to do is to remove ½ inch from the side here, and this mark will actually be where all our measurements are going to start from. So all our measurements will be starting from this line here. The next thing for us to do first is to identify all the horizontal lines, okay? So I'm going to identify, this is the beginning point up here. We are going to be starting all our vertical measurements are going to be starting from this line. So from this line here, we are going to identify the length of the trouser. So we say trouser length is 35.5, all right? So this is 35.5 here, okay? And then we're going to add 2 inches hanging allowance. That becomes 37.5. Now, a lot of us have been asking me, why don't you remove minus the waist before taking the trouser length and all that? You don't need that. One, when we come to attach waist here, we are going to reduce ½ inch from this because that is our sewing allowance. That has really shortened the length of the trouser. All right, so when you add the waist, whatever you have at the end, you still fold your trouser down here. So reducing 1.5 inch for waistband or whatever, at the end you might be having shortage, or so to avoid all those things, you just sew your trouser normally. When you finish, you fix your waist and you hem your trouser. All right, so it's not a must to minus 1.5 inch or 1 inch for waist allowance. It's not necessary. So these points we have here, let's mark them in 2 places. We say times 5.5 the length of our trouser. That's our hemming allowance, 2 inches. The next thing we need to do now is to identify the half length of this trouser. So identify the half length of this trouser. All right, and our half length is simply this length of trouser divided by 2, and that will give us the knee length. So if we divide it by 2, that gives us the knee length of this trouser. Okay, so obviously this is our knee length. Okay, so I'm going to take this measurement as well in 2 places. This knee length, I will take it in 2 places. I will still join this line here. Okay, this is a suit trouser, guys. Now, if you're interested in my suit class, because like this, I'm going to make the suit trouser and the suit jacket itself. So if you're interested in my suit class, let me know in the comment section and I'll add you to my suit class, right? So the next thing for us to do is to identify what the waist. We said the waist is what? Is 30, okay? We said the waist is 30. Now, I'm going to take our waist measurement from here to this side. When you're cutting, you divide waist measurement by 2. If you divide 30 by 4, rather, when cutting, you divide your waist measurement by 4. So 30 divided by 4, that gives you 7.5. But we're not going to start from this line. We'll mark out ½ inch away from this line, and then we'll start our waist measurement so as to give the trouser fitting, okay? So we say waist divided by 4, that is 7.5, plus ½ inch seam allowance, that becomes 8. So this is 8 here. All right, so on this 8 mark, we're going to come in here by a 3/4 inch allowance, all right, and we'll join this back to the waist. Why are we doing this? We are doing this to give your trouser fitting at the front. Trouser is not straight at the front, it's a bit curved like this to give it fitting. All right, so it's very important to do this. Very, very important. All right, so this is our waistline. Okay, so having gotten our waistline, the next thing we need to get now is the crotch. All right, And how do we get our crotch? We divide the waist measurement by 4. Now, if we divide this waist measurement by 4, you're going to have what? 7.5. These are 7.5. All right. But I'm going to add half inch so as to make it a little bit free, for the customer. So that will be 8. Yeah. All right. So from the beginning here, we have 9. So as to get a straight line. So you can either add half inch or you add 1 inch, depending on how free you want the trouser to be for the customer. All right. So this crotch length. On this crotch length, we now get our tie line. All right, or our lap. Do you understand? On the length of our crotch, that becomes our tie line. So the next thing for us to do is to get the hip line, which is measured 2 inches above the tie line. So 2 inches above the tie line, that becomes our hip line. So if we see what we are doing, we are ensuring that we get all the horizontal measurements. When we are done, then we now go for the vertical measurements, or the vertical lines, however you call it. So can you see this? So the next thing for us to do now is to get the tie, or the lap. Okay, let's cover our French. When we get our tie, we can now cover our crotch. All right. So we say our tie is what? Is 24. Divide by 2, that will give you 12. So this is 12 here. Our tie. So this is 12 here. Can you see this? This 12 here. So how are we going to cover our crotch? We'll simply measure this mark here. From here to the end, you have 8.5. We bring it down here. All right. This is 8.5. Then you add 1 inch to it on the hip line. This is our hip line. So we simply extended what we had here, 8.5, from here to 8.5. We bring it down, okay? We bring it down here. So you now add 1 inch to it to get your hip allowance, okay? If you don't want to use that formula, you can actually measure the customer's hip, all right? So when you come here, you say whatever the customer's hip is, you divide by what? By 4, whatever you get to measure it here. But if you did not take the customer's hip, simply extend the waist measurement down here, then add 1 inch to it. Hope that is simple. Then you cut this with your free hand or using your French curve. But I like using my free hand so that even those that don't have French curve, we understand that this is possible even without French curve. Can you see? Can you see? So you must not use French curve. So the next thing for us to do is to give our trouser fitting. Okay, I'm going to be very smart, sharp with this. So give our trouser fitting simply, we divide this tie line or lap line into 2. See this? So whatever we have, we now mark it all the way down. All right, all the way down. We'll now join this with the help of a straight line. Okay. Make it a straight line. All right. So on this line is what we're going to take the fitting of this trouser. So now when you are ironing this trouser, this is where your center line will be. When you're ironing this trouser, this is the center line. So from here, I've already given our trouser fitting. So we said the ankle of this trouser, we said is 13. So for us to get our ankle measurement here, you divide the ankle measurement by 2. If you divide 13 by 2, you'll be having 6.5. All right. So we need to have 6.5 here. Okay. So how can we get 6.5 from this line? We simply divide our 6.5 by 2. And what are we having? 3.25. We measure 3.25 this side, 3.25 this side. When we measure this, we're having what? 6.5. All right. We'll come to the knee here. We say our knee size is 17. Divide 17 by 2. All right. If we divide 17 by 2, you're having 8.5. Can you see this? So it means we're supposed to measure 8.5 here. Okay. So if you further divide 8.5 into 2, we're going to have 4.25 this side, 4.25 this side. All right. So measure these 2 now, you are having 8.5. So the next thing for us to do is to do what? Is to join this point to this point, this point to this point, this to this to that. Right. So quickly let's do that. We'll join this point to this point here. All right. I'll also join these points to this point here. All right. Next thing I first use our French curves. All right. Now, mind you, watch how I'm going to use my French curve here. Can you see? I'll join this line to this lap or tie line here. Just watch carefully. Can you see that? Then I'm going to join this line to the side there. Yes, I'm using my French curve. You need to understand how to use your French curves, all right? So I'll join this line here. This there. Can you see? The next thing for us to join this mark here, where we marked ½ inch before we took our waist measurement. We join this to this hip line here, not here again, hip line. And simply I'm going to keep my French curve this way, and I'll join this to this. I see this, and by way of making it fit smart, I'll just join this to this. So can you see? Make sure this point is not sharp. Okay, you see this. So before we cut our trouser, look at this point here. I'm not going to allow this line to come like this all the way down. I'm going to flay it out a little, so that when I want to hem my trouser, I won't be having shortage. If I've been sewing trouser, you understand what I mean by this. I'll flay it out a little, okay, so that when I hem it, it will fit this point here. So you see, we are done with the front piece. Let's cut it out and move straight into the second piece. Okay. Right, so for us to get our back piece, see that I've placed my front piece here. Okay, I've placed my front piece here, given an allowance of about 3 inches this side, here, so 3 inches. So I'm going to show us just one or two things to do, and we're done with the back piece. So we'll just come here. At this point here, we'll mark 2.5 inches up here, and then by the side, we'll mark just 2 inches. All right. So if you join these 2 points, we're having a meeting point here. We now join these points to this point here. Can you see this? So once that is done, next thing we'll do is to move one piece of the front piece sideways like this. All right, move it sideways like this. Can you see? Give you an allowance of 2¼ inch here is fine. 2¼ inch here, and here can be 2 3/4. That's very fine. Difference of 3/4. Difference of ½ inch. All right, that's fine. So next thing now is to go ahead and cut our trouser. Now when we get to this point, watch, I'm going to cut this trouser here. I'm now going to do my back piece. My back curve here won't be as deep as the front one. It will be and ½ inch away from the curve of the front. So look at this point. Now drawing this point. Okay, like this. You see that? So watch carefully how I'm going to cut it. All right, guys, so we are done. The next thing for us to do is to go into the sewing of this trouser. All right. Thanks for watching.